40 years in medicine, that's a lifetime. A lifetime of people you save and a lifetime of people you don't. But somehow, it isn't the thousands of faces I helped, or the names on the hospital board, or the long nights that kept the lights on, that keep me awake now. It's one night, one kid, one sentence, and a silence I still can't explain to this day. And to this day, I still don't know what he meant by it. My name is Dr. Harris, 72, retired, or at least the state says I am. My hands shake now. The days feel longer than they used to. My steps are slower. My breath is a little heavier. But the memories don't retire. They don't fade. They don't even age. They stay exactly where they've always been. Sharp, loud, and very, very alive. And this story, this one night that refuses to leave me alone, began with rain. The kind of rain that doesn't fall, it attacks. Hard, heavy droplets slamming against my coat as I rush through the parking lot. By the time I reached the ER doors, I looked like I had crawled out of a river inside. The place smelled the same as it always had. Antiseptic, rubber gloves, old coffee that no one remembers brewing. A quiet shift, too quiet. And in a place like that, silence is never a good sign. It means something is building, waiting, arriving, and it arrived fast. The automatic doors flew open, slamming back against the metal frame. Paramedics came in soaked, their boots splashing water across the floor as they pushed a gurney forward. A boy, maybe 18, maybe younger, dark jacket stuck to his chest, hair plastered to his forehead, breathing so weak it almost wasn't there at all. A plastic bracelet on his wrist read, AJ. I don't know why, but something inside me tightened the second I saw him. Maybe he reminded me of someone I couldn't save long ago. Maybe his silence felt familiar, or maybe it was just guilt, coming back in a younger face. He looked so small on that gurney, too small for the world he had been fighting. His fingers were freezing, ice cold, even under the heating lamp, and even unconscious. He looked like he had been afraid for a very, very long time. I had seen that expression before, on men twice his age, soldiers, accident survivors, people who had lived through storms they never asked for, but never on someone this young. We got to work fast, IV lines, oxygen, cardiac drugs, chest compressions when his pulse dipped. The usual procedures, except nothing about that night felt usual. My hands aren't fast anymore. Age slows everything, but somehow, that night, they moved like they remembered being young, like they remembered every life they had pulled back from the edge of darkness. Because losing the young ones always feels like fate at its cruelest. Halfway through the fight for his life, something happened I still don't understand. For a moment, just one painful, fragile moment, his eyes opened, dark, wide, afraid. He grabbed my coat, fingers trembling so violently I could feel them through the fabric, and with breath that barely existed, he whispered, "Don't tell her." And then he slipped under again. Just like that, his hand dropped, his eyes closed, gone from consciousness as fast as he had returned to it. I didn't know who he meant, didn't know what secret he thought he had to hide, didn't know who she was, but somehow it felt like I should have known. The nurses logged his belongings while we worked. Old wallet, loose change, a cracked phone, a note crumpled so tight it was almost unreadable. Then the phone lit up, a message from Mom. "Where are you? Please come home." Below it, an unsent draft. "I'm sorry." His hands were bruised, as if he'd been holding on to something too tight for too long. And in that moment, I understood what brought him here. He wasn't trying to leave the world. He was trying not to break someone he loved. A weight like that doesn't show up on tests. It doesn't appear in blood work or scans or charts, but it crushes just the same. Then, the moment every doctor fears, the monitors flatlined a long, sharp tone that slices through the air and your rib cage at the same time. We pushed, we shocked. We begged his heart to come back, but it didn't. And when it was over, the room went quiet in a way only death can make it. Minutes later, we heard footsteps. Wet, hurried, trembling, his mother. She burst through the door, almost collapsing when she saw him. Her cry wasn't a sound I can describe. It wasn't loud. It wasn't sharp. It was like the world fell straight through her chest. She saw the bracelet on his wrist, and her legs nearly gave out. She held his hand and begged him to wake up. She begged him the way only a mother can, with every piece of her heart breaking in her voice. And then she handed me something, a small crushed piece of paper she had pulled from his jacket. I think this was meant for you," she said through tears. I opened it carefully. Inside, written in shaky handwriting, "Tell the doctor I'm grateful." I stood there, wishing the world had given him more time, wishing I had too. People think doctors retire because of age, because the body slows down, because the hands don't move like they used to, because the mind starts misplacing small things like names, dates, birthdays. But the truth is far simpler, far quieter, far heavier. You don't retire from medicine when you're old. You retire when the losses start weighing more than the wins, when the victories stop staying with you. But the failures do, and sometimes all it takes is one night to finally tell your heart, "That's enough." For me, that night was a J. Not because I failed him, not because I made a mistake, not because I missed something, but because I realized that no matter how many lives you save, you will always carry the ones you couldn't, and the younger they are, the heavier they stay. After he was gone, I filled out the charts, signed the papers, wrote the time of death in neat, practiced handwriting like I'd done 1,000 times before. Except my hand didn't feel steady, and the words on the page didn't look like ink. They looked like echoes. Pieces of him that I had no right to put into a form. I remember stepping outside after my shift ended. The rain had stopped, but the world still smelled like it. That cold metallic scent that makes everything feel a little more fragile. I sat in my car longer than I should have, staring at the steering wheel, seeing none of it. All I saw was that boy, his hair stuck to his forehead, his eyes opening for that tiny, impossible moment, his voice cracking as he whispered, "Don't tell her." I still hear it sometimes, soft, sharp, like a memory that doesn't want to be forgotten. And then I'd think of his mother, her hands shaking, her voice breaking, her grief tearing through the room like something alive. That's when I knew my time in the ER had reached its end. I didn't leave medicine because I got old. I left because my heart did. But life doesn't stop when you walk away from a career. It slows down, changes shape, finds new corners to settle in. Now, some nights, I sit on my porch and watch the streetlights flicker on one by one. The world gets quiet in a different way at my age. Not dangerous quiet, just lonely quiet. The kind of quiet that lets memories drift in without knocking. And I think about AJ, a boy I knew for less than an hour. Yet I remember him more clearly than colleagues I worked beside for decades. Isn't it strange how life decides what stays and what haunts? How one moment, one whispered sentence, can carve itself into your bones so deeply that even years later you can still feel the shape of it. Sometimes I wonder what his last thought was, who her was, whether he knew how much he mattered, whether he felt alone in those final seconds, or whether he felt the weight of every hand that fought to keep him here. I'll never know. Some stories don't give you answers, they give you echoes. But this much I do know. His life wasn't meaningless. His pain wasn't invisible. His story didn't end in that ER. Because I'm telling it now. Because someone needs to hear it. Because someone out there might be one text message, one conversation, one apology, one come home, away from changing everything. And maybe, just maybe, AJ's story will reach them before the silence does. So listen to me, from one old soul who's seen too much and learned too late. If you love someone, tell them now tonight, in the morning, whenever you get the chance. Don't wait for a hospital hallway to remind you what actually matters. Don't wait for a phone that lights up with messages you'll never get to answer. Don't wait until regret is heavier than hope. I couldn't save that boy. But maybe sharing his story reaches someone who needs it. Someone standing at the edge with words trapped inside them, hands bruised from holding on to pain that was never meant to be carried alone. Some things don't heal, they just stay, quietly, permanently. But sometimes, holding on to someone's story is how you finally let go. Ajay didn't get the time he deserved, but he left something behind. A message, a whisper, a reminder. Tell the doctor I'm grateful. I hold on to that not as forgiveness, not as comfort, but as truth. Because gratitude, even in a life cut short, means he felt seen. And sometimes being seen is the closest thing we ever get to being saved. And if his story stays with me until my last day, then I think that's how it was meant to be.